Salmon are the icon that this region cannot live without. I'm Riley Starks. I'm a partner in Lummi Island Wild, reef net company. I've fished here in Lego Bay since 1992, and I've been a commercial fisherman all my adult life. Reef netting once was done all over the Salish Sea. That was the predominant way of catching salmon. The thing about reef netting is that it requires fish that school, that are moving in a direction with the tide. And in this particular location, Lummi Island, it's probably the most reliable reef net site there is. Reef netting is composed of an artificial reef that fools the fish into coming up and in and swimming over a net that's suspended between our two barges. When those fish, which we actually see, when they come over the net, we just lift the net up and they stay alive and we spill them into a live well. Some of the benefits of reef netting over other gear types are not very much consumption of fossil fuels because you stay in one place, you don't run for the fish. And then we also power our winches with solar power. Now the benefit is there's extremely small bycatch mortalities.
We can still pull everything aboard and put it in a holding pen, sort our catch, release the non-targeted species with virtually like a 0.5% mortality rate.
Personally, I think that pink salmon is the key to our future here in the Salish Sea. The pinks are surviving and thriving, and our pink salmon runs for a long time have been getting bigger and bigger.
The really highly prized fish commercially, the ones that return the highest dollar value both to fishers and to processors and distributors are sockeye, salmon, and Chinook that have a more complex life cycle than pink salmon. And developing and marketing more attractive and diverse products from salmon like pinks would enable pressure to be taken off of some of the stocks, and particularly the weak stocks that get encountered in this race to the fish out in the mixed stock fisheries in the oceans.
With pink salmon, it's really highlighting an abundant species. We should be consuming this. It's a beautiful product that tastes delicious. So why not incorporate an abundant species?
What has really made me mad, made me want to make a difference, is the lack of respect that some people have for pink salmon. It's a commodity, it's treated with disdain often, and pink salmon, they're considered the poor cousin, really, of sockeye and Chinook because they have a more subtle flavor profile. And so they're not treated well, and when they're not treated well, the price is low, and it's a downhill spiral. You know, if we're going to kill this animal, we need to do it with respect. We need to eat it with respect. We need to keep the quality absolutely the highest that we possibly can.
Pink salmon and the value of pink salmon on the plate has been misunderstood for many, many years because the fisheries in the past were not taking into consideration the quality of the fish. And so at the marketplace, people would be getting a fish like a pink, and it may not have been treated well, so the product may not have appeared to be as good.
Before I moved here, I never really knew anything about pink salmon. They're not even on the radar. The first time I tried it, I was just blown away. I was like, this is the best salmon I've had. For these pink salmon to show their quality, you know, it has to be this type of fishery that takes such good care of the fish, that bleeds them, that they're handled really well. And so I think that's a big part of why that this pink salmon isn't really like widely available is because there's just not that much quality pink salmon. But when you have it, it's actually incredible.
There was a day when reef netting was the culture of this island. And when I bought my first gear in 1992, it was to be part of the culture. You know, I think that we're placeholders right now. We're keeping this alive, we're refining it for the future. And what we're doing here someday is going to make a big difference.
This reef net fishery and the objectives of Patagonia Provisions, in a way, part of a general conservation concept that's been called Back to the Future, where to go forward, we really need to reconnect with sustainable fishing practices and equipment that were present in the not too distant past.
Salmon are a magical part of the environment that we live in. I am trying to make sure that they survive, that I'm not doing anything to encourage their demise, because I'd like my children to be able to enjoy the salmon. I'd like their children to be able to enjoy salmon. I'd like it to go on and on.